This is the way that two sides line up here at the new Shay. The Blue Sox have Cardis at full-back, Gibson, Bloom, Booving and Pinkney the three-quarter line, Holroyd and Gavin Clinch at half-back. Up front, it's Broadbent, Rowley, who's passed a late fitness test to be here, and Marshall, Des Clark and Gillespie, and Craig Randall, the former Salford man, at loose forward. And on the bench, Andrew Craig, David Hodgson, Andy Hobson and Danny Seal. The coach is the reigning coach of the year, John Pendlebury. Now the Salford Reds. Carriage at fullback, no Gary Broadbent. Martin, Littler, Casey and Thompson. Blakely's the skipper and Briggs is at halfback. And up front it's Baines, Olker and Southern. Hudson Smith and Chris Morley in the second row. And Paul Heighton, once of Halifax, is their loose forward. And on the bench, Martin Crompton, Craig Makin, who will make his Super League debut if he gets on, David Bradbury and Joe Faimilo. The coach is Andy Gregory. This is the scene inside the Halifax dressing room. Won at Huddersfield 17-14, lost at Castleford though on Good Friday 10 points to 14, and lost here to Warrington on day one. The Salford Reds aiming for their first points of 1999. They've lost 4 in a row, 3 in the Super League, plus the Challenge Cup quarter-final at Castleford. Steve Blakely leading out his men, hoping to improve on this record. Just 8 tries scored so far, but 15 conceded. Obvious problems in defence. And Malcolm Alker, the top tackler and the top try scorer this year so far. Second bottom in the table, only the Hull Sharks, who we saw lose yesterday here on Sky Sports, sit below them. So Steve Blakely, the England international, man who's been at Salford since 1992 and has scored over 500 points, leads the Reds out, while Gavin Clinch does the same for the Blue Sox. Just 1 victory, 6 tries scored and 9 conceded, so they're tighter on defence. Nick Pinkney and Paul Rowley, he was passed fit to play in this match just before the kickoff, and there he is in the headgear just walking out. 9th in the table, two sides who are really anxious to get their season back on track, or in Salford's case, underway. And out comes Gavin Clinch and the matchday mascots, Anthony and Carl Ackroyd. It's a big night for these two young men, particularly 8-year-old Carl, and they are both wanting us to wish their mum and dad a very happy anniversary for tomorrow. Apparently it was a great surprise to these two young men that they would be leading the Blue Sox out tonight, but there they are, a dream comes true. So this is the scene at the new Shay. Pleasant night, perfect for rugby league, excellent pitch, and about time that Salford Reds came to the party for their coach, Andy Gregory. Referee is Stuart Cummings, waiting for the smoke to clear from the flares. And Steve-O, Salford Reds really are desperate for the victory, but I suppose after last year's exploits, so too the Blue Sox.
Without doubt, but Andy Gregory, a man under a lot of pressure. He's been through a lot of problems over the past couple of months.
Having looked at that picture of Andy Gregory, though, he doesn't look under pressure at all, does he? And John Pendlebury, the reigning coach of the year, taking his usual spot at the back of the stand on the far side in communication with the trainer's bench. Andy Gregory preferring to watch from ground level. So it's the Salford Reds who get us underway. Blakely with the kickoff to his opposite number, Holroyd. He hands it on to Paul Broadbent, and Broadbent takes the first tackle of this Easter Tuesday battle between the Blue Sox and the Reds here at the new Shay.
Hit the line and wait.
Pretty important that the Salford Reds get their tackling very good. And you can see that they mean business. That was a big hit there by Neil Baines.
And as soon as this match kicks off, the rain starts to fall from the sky here. I said it was a pleasant night. Well, to this point, it was. Gavin Clinch almost through. Beg pardon, Des Clark almost through. Rowley. There's Holroyd. His kicking tonight will be important. And that will skim away and run just too dead. And you can see the rain is absolutely streaming down here at the new Shay now. And that ball took a real skip off a very wet surface.
Well, it's obviously that Halifax, especially the kicking game from Graham Holroyd, will put a lot of pressure on the Salford fullback, normally a winger, Paul Carriage. They obviously feel that Carriage will be a little bit uncomfortable, and in wet conditions, a pretty good tactic.
Paul Southern plays the ball. Malcolm Alker was the dummy half, and that is Paul Heighton, once of the Halifax Blue Sox, getting his team to the 40-metre line. Now Neil Baines, the former Wigan prop forward, gets over halfway and into Halifax territory for the very first time. And a good little switch of direction there from Carl Briggs, but not fooling the defence. Jamie Bloom and Graham Holroyd in very quickly. That's with Blakely, who is the main kicker for the Salford Reds. And Damien Gibson picked up for the Blue Sox. Good chase though, great chase downfield there by Chris Morley.
Took a long time, did the winger Damien Gibson. Oh, that could have been a dodgy one.
It was. Rowley fired the pass straight into the chest of David Boubeng.
He juggled with it with the Australian.
Rowley. It's not Rowley at all, it's Darryl Cardis, the full-back.
Good run, he spotted that Salford were very slow to defend on the blind side. And that looks ominous for the Salford defence.
There's Rowley.
They really went to sleep on that blind side there.
Here's Des Clark. Fifth and last for the Blue Sox. Good defensive stint this by the Reds, and they're running it. Holroyd, great ball out wide. And Bloom gets it away. They're keeping this ball alive and still do so. Clinch now. Chip over the top. And Salford grateful to get the ball back. Courtesy of Heighton.
Got the Reds defence there again out wide. It was beautiful play, good build-up. Not the best finish though by the skipper Gavin Clinch in the end. Tried to chip over the top. Didn't get good contact with it.
Paul Carriage, the full-back, has joined the line here, supporting his troops further forward. And that's Stuart Littler, 20-year-old Lancashire Academy player. Alker was the dummy half. Briggs hands it on to Blakely. Blakely looks wide and finds Hudson Smith. Good ball out the back door to Blakely, who followed up in support.
He does that so well, doesn't he, the big second rower, Hudson Smith.
Oh, and a big clatter there on Briggs. Got the kick in, but it looks, no, I was going to say it looks like it'll run too deep, but Pinckney had to pick it up in his own in goal. Good chase, Malcolm Alker there, forcing him back, offering a little bit of assistance to Paul Southern as well. And
not squared at the play of the ball. Well, it was
penalty.
a good kick and chase there. And you can see that they'd moved well and truly far too early. Paul Southern took a step to the left-hand side.
Well, Halifax Blue Sox were the surprise package, weren't they, last year? They won 10 of 11 here. Only Wigan beat them in Super League last year at home, though they did lose to St Helens at the end of the season. St Helens beat them in the playoffs. Here's Jamie Bloom. He's gone round one. South African international. Good tackle in the end from Briggs. Stopped him anyway. This is Rowley. On it goes. To Randall, the former Salford man. He picks himself up, plays the ball, Clinch to Holroyd. And Holroyd looking for Darryl Cardis out wide. Good sliding kick. Carriage is after it. Carriage almost made a mess of it. And Darryl Cardis.
Outstanding kick there from Graham Holroyd. And as we said earlier, that the Halifax side, they feel that Paul Carriage a little bit unnerved in the full-back position. To be fair to Carriage, he put himself about there, but you could see it bobbled around, touched it first, took the safest option, but Cardis really was bombing down there.
Well, Paul Carriage will be under a little bit of pressure because this is his first match at full-back for Salford. He has played there before, though, but not for the Salford Reds. Here's Broadbent now, former Sheffield Eagles captain. And now A great drive forward by Richard Marshall. Halted in the end by Hudson Smith. Clinch, good movement here from the Blue Sox. Randall now, but he disappears under the challenge from 3. Rowley, Broadbent, finds Bloom. Good movement again from the South African. He straightens them up.
Having all sorts of problems with this Salford Reds side. And Halifax are turning in the tackle, they're offloading.
And they couldn't simply put him down, and the referee didn't shout held. So here's Gavin Clinch, ball back on the inside, and Randall loses it under pressure from the Salford defender, Hudson Smith.
It was a great tackle, wasn't it? But that should have been a penalty. 2 men come in, you'll see that the ball's not deliberately down there.
Here we go.
And there was little doubt that Paul Ashton, the loose forward, got the fingertips to that. Lady Luck shining towards the Salford Reds on that occasion. That should have been a penalty.
Halifax's turn to defend then. Going back to last year, the Salford Reds in possession there with Morley. The Welsh international have lost 7 in a row in Super League. Their only away wins of 1998 came at Huddersfield and Warrington. This is Malcolm Alker, though, who has really shown up well for them in the past 12 months. Graduated through the ranks, now in the Super League.
Good work by the hooker. Supported the offload from the prop forward, Neil Baines.
And here's Blakely. Trying to jink his way through the Halifax defence, but that's the last tackle.
It's important now the 2 halves work today for Salford. Blakely, of course, the skipper, and Carl Briggs.
There's Briggs with the kick. Driving it towards the line. But picked up by Gibson. Gibson is caught underneath his post.
Well, that should please the Salford coach, Andy Gregory. That was a good kick and chase. They've been put under a lot of pressure. And thankfully for Salford, the scrambling defence has been good. He looked wet out there.
He's soaked to the skin, is Gregory. No McIntosh on. Broadbent with a good drive towards the halfway line. Rowley, here's Clinch again. Now Holroyd. And Holroyd standing back, giving himself a bit of space. He's looking for a 40-20. He certainly kicked it from within the 40-metre area, but well, it's a good kick as it turns out, because it stands in the in-goal area, and the chasers come and carriage to the ground.
Clever thinking there by the standoff, Graham Holroyd. You can see he deliberately went back into the 40 zone, and he has a tremendous boot on him.
Sixth in Super League in 1997, the Salford Reds. 11th last year. But at home to Castleford on Sunday. Then they play Huddersfield. Then they go to Gateshead during the rest of April. It's a big month for them and for their coach. But they're moving it around confidently enough at the moment. This is Darren Casey. 302 points for Wakefield Trinity last year for Casey. And there's another possible 40-20, but no, it bounces and stands up neatly for Darryl Cardis. Good run too from the full-back.
Didn't get the required length there. It was right down the throat of Cardis. It was a tricky customer.
And well known to John Pendlebury also, because when Pendlebury was coach of the reserve grade at Wigan, Cardis was one of his stars, and moved quickly to bring him to the new Shay for 1999. It's now Broadbent. Baines is after him.
Well, you could see quite clearly that Halifax, with ease, getting over that advantage area. And Salford are having a little bit of trouble with this defence. They're
That's a lovely ball from Holroyd to Cardis. Flying tackle on him by Neil Baines, former teammates at Wigan, of course. Clinch will stab one through. And that was a brave take by Scott Martin on the deck.
Was it ever? It was a good option. And Martin really put the body on the line. Oh, that's a big hit. They really are getting to him. Richard Marshall onto the fullback. This is the kick from Clinch. Oh, he did well there, didn't he? Tremendous work by Martin.
Baines again. Big hit from Broadbent and Marshall again. And Blakely under pressure with the kick. Now this could be a 40-20 if it finds touch. The winger Gibson scurrying after it and gets it. Oh, great run. Super run from Gibson.
Nice step. Off the left foot there.
Pinckney. Rowley's the man at dummy half. And that's Randall. Releases the pass. Not the best.
Still two.
Holroyd picks up. Back to Clinch. Does well. This is Gillespie.
Standing still though, Gillespie. They really want to stand back a little bit more, run onto the football.
Rowley, it was a real bonus to John Pendlebury that Rowley was past fit just before this game. Stab over the top by Holroyd, collected by Carriage.
Great position there by the Australian Carriage. Anticipated the kick over the top. Well, all this pressure from the Halifax Blue Sox, and especially to that man, Paul Carriage, they've really made sure that he's done a lot of work in the opening 11 minutes. But full credit to the Reds, they've got back, struggled through to keep the score 0-0.
Craig.
Olker spins the ball into the arms of Briggs, and Briggs looks wide. And he finds Heighton again. Martin takes over. Briggs will hoist the kick.
Not a good one though.
Straight up in the air, but Briggs is first to react to it. Tried to keep it alive, but Cardiff collects for the Blue Sox.
Well, a nice high option. And the bomb there, it's still quite wet, even though the rain has stopped. A bit slippery conditions. So the kicking game is useful.
Good stuff, Frankie.
Clark picks himself up, plays the ball to Rowley. He in turn finds Gillespie. Gillespie is grounded on halfway.
Well, perhaps Halifax doing a little bit too much switching. The two breaks that they've had so far, they've come from out wide. And that's due to the linking ability of Holroyd and Clinch.
Good tackle there by Olker, though, on Marshall. Dab over the top from Clinch. Cardiff is after it. Cardiff has got round Carriage. Booving couldn't collect it. It bounced off his backside.
The knock-on.
But the referee has called the knock-on.
And it was. Halifax fans don't like it. That was off the boot. And then when he goes down to pick it up, there it is. I think a fingertip got to him.
Must have a finger on his knee. I think they're a bit hard done by there, Steve-O.
Well, you can see he was perhaps taken out by Carriage, but this is the point. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't get a fingertip to it.
Stay in.
But that could have been obstruction by the fullback, Paul Carriage, on his opposite fullback, Harold Cardiff. And they breathe again. Offside.
Now they're offside. The Blue Sox moving up too quickly to play the ball.
Well, Halifax must feel that they're becoming a little bit frustrated now.
Same with you fellas, got to have your back.
They've had all the possession. They've applied the pressure. There's the scoreline. Nothing to show for all that hard work.
Well, plenty of new faces in this Halifax team, taking a wee while to bed in, but the same must be said for Salford. They've got virtually an entirely new side on show this year. That ball was dropped by Olker.
Took a bit of a bang as well, but yet again, the neat little play by Neil Baines, who popped the ball up for the hooker in support. And that impact there, oh dearie me, Broadbent, all his weight. And that wouldn't have done the hooker's shoulder much good.
He's no lightweight, is he, Paul Broadbent?
That was a beautiful pass. That's the third offload that Neil Baines has done. Little Dynamo is the prop forward. So is this kid, Malcolm Alker. He's a tough cookie.
Gibson is tackled by Casey. And Clark takes over again for the Blue Sox. Got through a lot of work in 1998 to Des Clark. This is Bouveng now.
Well, this is where they shouldn't use the link.
Good run from Rowley. Spins out of the tackle on halfway.
Great work from the dummy half. Made great ground forward.
And there's Rowley again, it's on the last.
Accidental offside. Rowley putting boot to ball. Hit one of his fellow players who was stood in an offside position. That's the reason why Cummings is call it on the last. Caught Clinch. Clinch didn't know much about it. Good call there by the official.
Carriage, good ball back on the inside there, and this is a chance for Stuart Littler. Pinckney after him, and with a bit of help from Cardiff, he's brought down. Thompson, dummy half. Briggs, on it goes to Blakely, further wide to Casey. Casey then back on the inside again. Good defence. Great defence there from Carl Gillespie.
Read it well, didn't he, the big second rower.
Crompton is on, and Crompton almost through. He's come on for Malcolm Olker, who received that bang on the shoulder. Here's Baines. Difficult to stop from that range, but Halifax did. And they continue this movement going. This is Carriage. There's chances here. They've got the man on the overlap, and he's in. That's a great try for Heighton, and Paul Heighton comes up with the first 4-pointer against his former club. He silenced them here at the new Shay, apart from the tiny knot of Salford supporters on the terraces, and Paul Heighton with the first try of the match for the Salford Reds.
First real chance that the Reds have shown into this quarter, and Baines yet again offloading. They did so well to keep it going. This is superb work. Fullback Carriage came through, and Heighton, that's not the best defensive effort you'll see from a Super League side for quite some time. But this little dynamo, Neil Baines, well, he gets through a ton of work, offloaded out wide. Look at the position there by the fullback. But that is woeful defence. He won't mind. Heighton, first chance. Reds open the scoring.
Well, he left Halifax last year, 57 appearances. Became a free agent at Halifax. Joined Salford after a little spell on loan at Featherstone Rovers. And Crompton, Martin Crompton, the number 7, involved in that, the substitute for the Salford Reds, and we're hearing from the touchline that Malcolm Olker maybe has a dislocated shoulder, which is a huge blow for the Salford Reds, for Olker, and indeed for Andy Gregory. This is Blakely trying to improve matters from that try, and he's hit the post. Well, how many times this year have we seen the kickers hit the post from conversions and penalties? Near 4-0 to Salford.
There you see, that's Baines offloading. 3 defenders who are always going to be in trouble from there on in. And once they offloaded yet again, look out wide. They're stretched, it's 3-1. And this is really bad defence there.
Stay behind, fellas. Stay behind.
They should have had him, they didn't. They went far too high. Heighten in. It's all about taking your chances in this day and age in rugby league.
And 22-year-old Paul Heighton has done exactly that. And that's not a bad start for Andy Gregory Salford. Defended stoutly, and now they have got the first points on the board.
Okay, that's one. Clear now. Come on, Craig. All the way, son.
Crompton was the dummy half, playing at hooker because Olker is off the field. And there's the try scorer. He disappeared under that challenge. This now is Carl Briggs.
Well, it's amazing. I said that Halifax were looking a little bit frustrated because they had all the possession in the opening 18 minutes. Didn't come up with it. Was lost.
The ball's lost.
Was it taken?
No,
yes,
knock on.
Well, that's a big mistake. And Southern will not be happy with that. Just as the elbow hit the ground, he lost control of it. I was just about to say that Halifax, they looked a little bit perplexed why they hadn't got points on the board, and the first chance that Salford did, they built in confidence. Their scrambling defence was good, but the Halifax coach, John Pendlebury, must get out the message that they've got to make sure that their first hit in attack and defence is solid.
Carl Gillespie, Heighton doing the tackling, Rowley in a dummy half, Broadbent, charging run to the 20-metre line. Rowley, dummy half, back to Clint. Looks wide and finds Holroyd. Holroyd pops the ball up for Bloom, and Bloom through a gap, and the strength of the South African takes him home. Scores a level. Jamie Bloom with the try. Try in both Super League meetings against Salford last year, and And in the rain here at the new Shay, won in 1999 for Bloom against the Reds. John Pendlebury and Nicky Kiss alongside him continue the debate.
Get the link out wide. It was a superb delayed pass. Just watch this. Here it comes. Holroyd, beautiful delayed pass to the big centre. And the South African in for a strong try there. Outstanding play. Such a thinker, the standoff, Graham Holroyd. Looked as though it was going to be a long pass out wide. He drew his opposite, Steve Blakely. And Jamie Bloom opens the door in for the Blue Sox. They needed that badly.
So Jamie Bloom, a man who actually ran in 18 tries last year, 9 for Halifax and 9 for Widnes in the old First Division. Graham Holroyd now, left-footed kicker, correct side of the pitch for him, and gets the 2 points, as the touch judge flags will tell you. Halifax 6, Salford 4. The Reds lead was short-lived.
Watch how the crisscross. Bloom will come back on the inside. Delayed pass. That was superb work. That would have pleased the Halifax coach, John Pendlebury, no end. That's the sort of thing that they work on the training paddock for hour after hour. And he's come up trumps, hasn't he, the South African.
He's a difficult man to stop, isn't he? Nearly a mess of the kickoff from Gillespie. Here's Bloom. And the touch judge on the far side is on. Kim Taylor got his flag up.
16. Yeah, 16. Stop!
Well, they're saying it's 16, but I think it was Chris Morley that's a culprit. They've got the wrong fellow here.
Got him in the face, he's pulled him down by his face. All right? Yeah, keep off his head. That's all we're asking, okay?
You'll see it clearly here. Wang. And it's Morley the culprit. But they'll probably tick off Martin. I'm sure that the touch judge said it was 16. Either way, pressure's off. Halifax getting another 30 minutes forward.
Indeed, they're on halfway with Clinch and now with Broadbent. The tackling by Southern. Here's Des Clark. Whoa, and the ball was lost, but it went...
play on. Back to 6.
Indeed, it went backwards off the challenge from Hudson Smith, and Halifax first to react. Here's Richard Marshall. They've suddenly upped the tempo since they went behind. They're getting to the pace of this match now. Here's Clinch. Goes wide to Holroyd. He pops it back to Broadbent. Nowhere for Broadbent to go. Rowley again, going down the short side with Holroyd. Flips it back to Bloom, and Bloom lost it under pressure immediately from the Salford defender. Casey's got it back.
Again, the scrambling defence by Salford is quite outstanding. It looks as though they lose their shape in defence, but they somehow get back and help.
Carriage is tackled by Broadbent. Briggs is the man now playing at hooker. He has swapped with Martin Crompton, who replaced Alker.
Well, he was left all on his own there. You could see he had no option but to just go one out.
Baines. Such a difficult man to put down. Low centre of gravity and quite a bit of weight as well.
Well, not only that, he attracts sometimes 2 and 3 would-be tacklers. And when he twists and offloads, that's why they scored the first try from Highton.
Kick from Blakely. They're all after it. They've been told to give the winger Pinckney 10 metres. Good work, smart work in defence by Cardiff.
Super stuff there. And the full-back just swept up at the back. That's what you're there for. Very composed player.
Bouveng in possession for the Blue Sox.
Salford desperate, trying to slow things down now. They're trying to turn the Halifax players onto their back. Stop them having a quick play the ball.
Randall plays it to Rowley. On it goes to Clinch. Big hoof downfield.
That's a 40-20. It
Got
goes.
possibilities. It didn't.
Oh, great chase. Nowhere for
Well
him to
picked
go.
up by Martin, that was.
That was an enormous kick there. That time it came from Gavin Clinch, so pretty positive in the kicking department. Halifax, of course, Holroyd and Clinch, very strong kickers of the football.
Salford with a pretty poor record here in Halifax against the Blue Sox. In fact, since the war, just 6 wins in 24 league and cup visits. And since 1973, as you can see, head-to-head in all meetings. But here is where the difference is. 10 Halifax victories to 3 from Salford. Good kick downfield. Pinkney's after it. And he's got to collect it behind his own try line, run it back out, and that's good work from the winger. Makes 11 very valuable metres.
Just bobbled a little bit. We saw at Hull yesterday, Prescott, when he dallied around in the in-goal area, allowed Bright Sobji a try.
Good little run from Cardiff there as well. Here's Bouveng once more.
Well, again, they've got to try to get it out wide because Salford really do have a problem. In the centres, Littler and Casey, they're struggling out wide there.
Rowley's at dummy half. Broadbent wanted it, got it. Good run from Broadbent. He did that so effectively for Sheffield Eagles for all those years. And now he's doing it for the Blue Sox.
Strength of the man, quite amazing.
Clinch shaped the kick, but instead he went out wide. Holroyd, the ball is played out to Gibson, and Damien Gibson will score a second for Halifax. Holroyd created it again with a beautiful pass, but I think you can put that down really to a terrific run from Paul Broadbent and a touch of despair creeping across the face of Andy Gregory. But it was Broadbent who did all the hard work for that try, scored by Damien Gibson.
This is what the forwards are paid to do. Second effort, never gave in. They went far too high. He's such a hard man to put down. And once the defence is coming back, lovely ball out wide, Clinch through the dummy. Look at this, superb. I said that they would have trouble out wide. And there was little doubt that Gibson was going to help himself to another 4. It's a vital time to score as well. Good play, beautiful hands there. Probably one of the best passes in Super League is the standoff Graham Holroyd. And the little halfback Gavin Clinch isn't too bad. Gibson gleefully accepts the try.
So Holroyd, who created the try with the final pass after Broadbent's marauding run, now trying to improve matters. Another left foot, and he turns before he sees the touch judge's flags raised. He knew it was home and hose. 12 points to 4. Halifax Blue Sox, and John Pendlebury is the winning coach at the moment.
You can see how the sliding defence is caught. Long ball out wide. He was always reaching, was a defender. Calm, cool and collected. Holroyd just pulled in the full-back Paul Carriage, allowed Gibson in. It's going to be a tough few minutes now for the Salford Reds. That was a classic Blue Sox try.
The gap is 8 points. We've got 11 minutes to go to half-time. And the Blue Sox will look now to build on this little lead that they have almost shaken by the try from Heighton, and the missed tackles count is rising for Salford. 16 in the opening half hour here. And they're the sort of statistics that really do turn coaches' jobs into nightmares.
Well, maybe the Salford try from Heighton brought Halifax out of the lethargic state. And 6 breaks to 2, just the wrong side of the corner flag.
And I think actually it was just the wrong side of the 40-metre line as well, so it wouldn't have counted. You could see what he was thinking about, couldn't you?
My word.
Playing at standoff today, and of course Chris Chester out of the side injured. Graham Holroyd. A lot of people wondering, with Chester in such dominant form last year, why John Pendlebury brought Graham Holroyd to Halifax, but I think they see Chester as maybe a loose forward of the future, particularly with Martin Moana at the moment out of the side and injured in a long-term spell.
Well, he's also trying to get a little bit of depth. That was one thing perhaps. Oh, that's a bad mistake by the fullback.
Carriage puts it down. Crompton's pass.
There was one thing perhaps that let Halifax down last season when it came to the crunch games. Bad mistake by the fullback. was the lack of depth when they had a couple of injuries late in the season. They struggled somewhat, but it's obvious from what we've seen in the last 15 minutes that the combination of the two halfbacks, Holroyd and Clinch, is certainly working.
Danny Seal is coming on for the Blue Sox. The man he's replaced is Craig Randall, the ex-Salford Red. Here's Holroyd again. Now Bouveng. Holroyd called for the return and got it. Good hands. Bloom. And Bloom will straighten it up now. Oh, but he loses it under pressure. And Bloom and Hudson Smith having a thorough go at each other as referee Stuart Cummings just runs past them and ignores it. Taking a close look now.
Well, it was just a case of if looks could kill. They're grabbing hold of each other, make sure that no free fist could be utilised. Oh, good work there.
Southern with a good run. Wrestled to the ground by Gillespie. Carl Briggs dummy half. Crompton switches the direction of the attack. Here's Blakely. Out wide it goes to Heighton again. And Heighton, Rowley and Bloom around him, but he still gets the ball away. Nowhere for Garen Casey to go. Faimilo is on. Faimilo running straight and strong. Last tackle for the Salford Reds. Briggs, Blakely, looks right and finds Crompton. He is carried, another man on the overlap here. And that's almost over the line there by Stuart Littler, but just held up and in the field of play as well. Scrambling defence from Salford, from Halifax.
Good work by Pinckney there. Made sure that he smothered the ball. There's no chance he could get that down.
Good attack though from the Reds. Here's Danny Seal. First touch for him, the ball in hand.
Certainly was, and it was a run from dummy half by Joe Faimilo that really set that up. And that could just change the game slightly. Substitute coming on, Andy Gregory making the changes. Trying desperately to get back into this match before the half-time hooter.
Marshall spins away almost from Crompton, but he's a difficult man to shake off, Martin Crompton. Rowley, Clinch, Holroyd, Blakely all over him, forces the mistake. Southern's got it back here.
Well, that was off a Salford hand there. It's always difficult.
Oh, that's a great run from Casey. Casey's going to go in the corner. Casey gets the score. Just what Salford needed, and Garen Casey gets the try. He picked that up about 15-20 metres out, and he would not be stopped. Second try of 1999 for Garen Casey, the man who scored all those points last year for Wakefield Trinity. Spurned the opportunity of coming into Super League with the Wildcats, went to Salford Reds instead.
Got to say, you take your chances, and this is the only second time that Salford perhaps have looked smart and made the break, and Garen Casey took advantage. Jamie Bloom went far too high. A bad mistake, of course, allowed them to get to the football. And this man, fullback Paul Carriage, linking in yet again. Burst away Garen Casey. No one's going to get anywhere near him. Jamie Bloom knew that he'd gone far too high, and Casey has a little bit of a smile at the fella.
So Garen Casey drags Salford back into this match just when it looked like Halifax were going to really turn the screw up towards the half-time siren. It's the Salford centre, Casey, who comes up with the 4. So Steve Blakely missed his earlier conversion attempt. Impeded a little bit by the 20-metre pole there that is the referee's guide. No doubt it'll be restored when this kick is taken. Blakely then for the extras. Great kick from Blakely, but he just misses. That was so close. 12-8, the Blue Sox lead. And the referee's aid is put back.
Well, there you can see Jamie Bloom. He had him set up. Trouble is, you've got to go low. You don't go high. You just fended him away with ease, Garen Casey. Set off for the touchline. Squeezes in at the corner. Desperation there from Jamie Bloom, but he knew that he'd been beaten.
So 12-8. And as we've seen throughout this Easter holiday weekend here on Sky Sports, nothing to choose between the teams that we featured. Beginning with that epic between Bradford and Leeds on Thursday, continuing with Wigan Saints on Good Friday. Yesterday we had a thriller, didn't we, at the Boulevard between the Hull Sharks and Sheffield Eagles. And here we are tonight with another. And you'll be able to see all the tries, by the way, all the points scored in Super League this Easter holiday weekend after this match is finished here at Sheffield tonight. We're with you at Halifax tonight. We're with you right the way through until 10 o'clock.
No penalties, tackles down.
Well, I know that the Halifax coach, John Pendlebury, will have a lot to say at the break.
Okay, that's one, clear.
They really have outplayed the Salford side in the first half. But look at the scoreline, only 12-8. Salford really have hit back. And you've got to put that down to the fact that Halifax, they've just gone to sleep on 2 occasions. And they have paid the price. Pendlebury will be furious with them.
This is Richard Marshall. Rowley, Broadbent again. Got them into the position to score the try earlier. Salford this time. Hauling down. Last one. Clinch to Holroyd. The Blue Sox are running it with Cardiff. He fires the pass then to Marshall. Marshall suddenly goes down a blind alley and is trapped in possession. It's the turnover. They went for the power play and the power suddenly ran out of Richard Marshall's legs.
Well, it's not the best thing to be on the last tackle when you've got a prop forward handling the football. And he thought about it, did Marshall, should I kick it? And it's obvious that he's not a very good kicker of the football. He went to ground.
London Broncos against the Saints on Friday at 7 on Sky Sports 1. Saints going absolutely bananas this year, top of the table. Wonderful win against Bradford yesterday. Beaten Wigan, of course, on Good Friday, so they are buzzing the Saints. And we'll see how they do at the Stoop on Friday night. 12-8 here. We've got 2.5 minutes to half-time. And Crompton, the ball went backwards to Carriage, and it's play on. Good decision from the referee. It's on the lad. He certainly lost it, but he went backwards. And here's Crompton again. Clinch, poor attempt at a tackle, high kick, and too deep. Sails out on the full. Shakes his head, and he knows it wasn't his best.
2 minutes.
For another opportunity. They've only had 4 the entire first half. Scored 2 tries. Well, he may look wet and bemused, but I think deep down they'll be quite happy with the fact that they're only 4 points adrift. After Halifax really did put them on the rack. They've made so many more clean breaks, taken more possession, had more opportunities.
Here they come again with Des Clark.
Ooh, he went in with a shoulder, elbow there,
He
and
did.
one of the Salford players is down.
Baines is flat out. And Holroyd steps inside a would-be challenge.
Ooh, look at this. Clark leading with the left elbow.
And now Halifax have a penalty.
In the way, Joe. In the way.
For Milo, the culprit.
penalised, but I rather fancy that somebody might want to look at that run, the leading elbow.
Well, I think he might have been badly done to there for Milo. Holroyd wanted to get on with the game as quickly as possible. He's a bit bemused, but this is the incident. Oh, leading with the elbow like that. Baines would have felt it. Not surprisingly, he goes flat onto his back.
Definitely that. Definitely that.
Well, sometimes the officials miss it. That should have been penalised, should have been reported. And I'm afraid the officials out there have missed it. And as Eddie has suggested, maybe someone else might not when they have a little look at the video later this week.
Half a minute to half-time. The referee just calls time off and wants the Salford trainer to get out of the way as he administers water.
Regarding that incident, Eddie, I always feel that the officials should look at every single game if there's anything unsavoury. We cannot have players getting away with anything.
Holroyd. Good strike. 2 points. Increases the lead. 14 points to 8. Right on the stroke of half-time. The gap between the two sides is a converted try. And the half-time siren will be long in any second. There indeed it is, last kick of this first half then. And Andy Gregory doesn't look the happiest of Super League coaches. 2 tries apiece. It's the goal kicking of Graham Holroyd that separates the two teams. Broadbent with a marvellous run that produced the second Halifax try from Gibson. Jamie Bloom with the first. For them, at this point, Salford were 4 up, but now they're 14-8 down. Live international cricket coming up for you on Sky Sports as England take on Pakistan and India in the Coca-Cola Cup. The tournament starts tomorrow with 4 live games this week. England take on Pakistan though in the first match. That's tomorrow from midday here on Sky Sports, on Sky Sports 2 in fact. Right now, half-time in the Super League match between Halifax Blue Sox and Salford Reds, bringing to an end our Easter weekend coverage. There is another match in the competition tomorrow, but right now it's Halifax 14 and Salford 8. 2 tries apiece, but it's the goal kicking of Graham Holroyd that's the difference between these two sides. And John Pendlebury wants to return to the thought that this is the fortress new Shay for the Halifax Blue Sox. Only lost once in 1998 here in the weekly rounds. That was against Wigan, who went on to lift the Super League crown, of course. But already this year, Warrington have won here on the opening day, and the Salford Reds want to become the second team to return home from the new Shay victorious. Andy Gregory and Paul Carriage, by the looks of things, leading the debate at the moment on where things have gone slightly wrong in that first half. But 12 points to 8, it's not beyond the Salford Reds to come back into this match. They've showed signs, and I think, as Steve-O said during the course of the first half commentary, they've only really had 4 chances, and they turned 2 of those chances into tries.
That's why I think that the coach, Andy Gregory, will not be too upset, and I think that he'll be quite happy with the way that things have gone, because early in that first half, the possession really did go to Halifax. They had Salford Reds on the rack. It's the same old story about they're putting them to bed and not kissing them goodnight. They really can't get that sort of killer punch in. I mean, they really took control of Halifax. I thought we're going to run away with the game, but for some unknown reason, and full credit to the Reds, they got back their scrambling defence. I mean, there's been 8 clean breaks to only 2 from Salford. 4 opportunities, and yet the Reds come up with 2 vital tries. And I think that John Pendlebury will be the man that will be worrying most of the fact that, okay, we are going good stuff when we're going forward, but we've got to defend. And I think that when Salford scored that first try, completely against the run of play, but that really was the start that really give them a kick-start for Halifax. Baines, who had been doing it, okay, it wasn't the best pass, they wasn't really around, but there you see that once they get the ball out wide, and Carriage, who's linked in well from the full-back position, this is awful defending. That was not the best from Nick Pinkney in the first place, and it really did get them going, but this was sheer classic play, wasn't it? Look at the delayed pass there. It was a set move, the big centre, Jamie Bloom coming back on the angle, and it was a wonderful held-up pass by Graham Holroyd. Such a classy player. Back into it. Now then, Broadbent. This is real strength. Look how he attracts the defence to them. You can see that Salford are struggling. They're trying to get back into one line of defence. And yet again, quick play, clinch, with a fellow halfback. He set himself up well there, and Gibson in for an easy try. And it looked yet again that the Blue Sox were going to take control, but good work again by the full-back. Carriage out wide, Jamie Bloom undid all that good stuff where he scored the first try. Went far too high on Darren Casey, and lo and behold, I think they'll be quite happy. But this, I think we may hear a little bit more of that. Des Clark onto the opposite prop forward there, and dearie me, Baines felt that. Irrespective of whether you are with or without the ball, you cannot attack above the shoulder of any opponent. And as I said, I think we'll probably hear a little bit more of that. Well, I hope we do anyway. We can do without that.
It's the second game in 5 days for both of these teams. Now, you would imagine that at the end of this match, we might be talking about the fitness levels of each team. I mean, who do you think will be the team that will survive and will come stronger as the game progresses?
I think the fact that Salford had to do so much tackling early in that match, I think it would have drained their resources. I think it's important now, whoever scores first in the first 10 minutes of the second stanza perhaps will take control of it. It's still slippery out there, and of course that means that the kicking game will come into the force. And Holroyd and Clinch, they are controlling that. Salford really haven't got a roll on. They've taken their opportunities, they've scored 2 good tries, opportunity tries, maybe, but the fact is that the possession, especially early in that match, went to Halifax. And if Halifax can get that same possession in the second half, I think that all that defending by Salford in the first 20 minutes will take its toll late in the game.
Well, we shall see. The second half still to come. And of course, it's always coming at you, isn't it? The Super League here on Sky Sports. We have coverage of the British game well and truly, but also this year we have the Australian League covered as well. And our next appointment from the National Rugby League of Australia comes along on Saturday at 10 a.m. on Sky Sports 1, when Chris Warren and Tony Ray will introduce the North Queensland Cowboys against the Penrith Panthers. The whole game for you on Sky Sports 1, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, the regular time slot now for the Aussie Rugby League here on Sky. But we have got this Super League match to see out here. We've got 40 minutes left for play, and at the moment it's the Halifax Blue Sox who are in charge, 14 points to 8. But Salford, well, they're not done yet. World Championship boxing coming up for you on Saturday night. Prince Naseem defends his WBO featherweight title against Paul Ingle in one of the all-time great. Thomas Hearns goes for the IBO cruiserweight title, live on Sky Box Office 3 and on Sky Digital. The show starts at 8 o'clock. For more information on this box office event, call 0990 800 888. That's 0990 800 888. Right now here on Sky Sports 1, it's Halifax Blue Sox against the Salford Reds at half-time. The Blue Sox are just ahead by 14 points to 8. Second game in 5 days for these two sides, and we might well be talking about the fitness levels before this game reaches its conclusion. Halifax in the blue and white hoops will get us going in this second half. They'll attack from left to right, and it's Graham Holroyd who will get us underway. Stuart Cummings blows the whistle. Second half in motion. Kick off straight into the arms of Garen Casey, and Jamie Bloom and Damien Gibson make the first tackle of the second half. Martin to Faimilo, ran strongly in the closing moments of that first half, Faimilo, when he came on as a sub. And there's Craig Makin, the first touch for Craig Makin in the Super League. He's the former Widnes prop forward, regarded by many as one of the best outside of the Super League. He's had a frustrating time before he's made his debut here in round 4, but he's involved in the action now for Andy Gregory's men. And the Reds with a 6-point gap to make up. Blakely hoists the kick. Cardis is after it. It bounces off Cardis. That's a knock on. But the referee gives a turnover because Carriage was involved there as well, but surely if Carriage was involved, he was facing his own line, wasn't he?
Well, that's confused me. I don't think he got anywhere near to it. And if he did, it would have been going backwards. Well, that's a fascinating one from the official Stuart Cummings.
Maybe Carriage did get a hand to it, but the ball would have gone back towards the Salford Reds' own try line. That surely
play on.
Should have been play on.
Yep.
Or a scrum head and feed to Salford, because Cardis was the man who got to the loose ball. However, let's not debate that anymore. Let's look at the action, and it's with Clinch. Cardis again. And Cardis got a bang then.
I think he grabbed the headgear. I think it was a grab of the headgear. I think it was, yeah, maybe into the eye. Yeah, Hudson Smith, fair and square across the bridge of the nose. And that's the reason why Darryl Cardis is seen more than one physio out there.
Holroyd with a little dink over the top. Great chase on out wide. That's a try. That's a super try from Nick Pinkney. Referee will check with his touch judge, and I think he'll hand it on to the video ref to check if he was onside.
Check two things, please. First of all, is he onside? And was the ball grounded correctly, please?
I don't think there's any doubt about the grounding, but onside is the big decision.
Well, a high shot will show you that he is onside. There he is right at the bottom of your corner there on the right-hand side, and by the time it makes contact to Holroyd's boot, Pinkney is well and truly onside. No problem getting the ball down.
Well, Pinkney went like a rocket down that touchline. I think he's got the decision from the video ref. The try is given. Stuart Cummings wise to hand it on to the video referee, and Pinkney registers his third try of 1999. A great little try scorer, Nick Pinkney, scored wherever he played.
Great work yet again from this fella. Graham Holroyd is having a magnificent match. Such a skill. You can see the ball spinning backwards. They work hard at it. Notice how it gets underneath the end of the football so that it spins back. That's why it stopped. It stopped perfectly for Pinkney to finish it off. Well, I suggested at the half-time break that whoever scored first in the second half would take well and truly control of this match.
And Nick Pinkney has scored the first four-pointer of the second half. And he really does score tries wherever he plays. Formerly with Sheffield, came to Halifax this winter. And Holroyd trying to improve matters. Misses. 18-8. Gap's now 10. Just the start that John Pendlebury's Blue Sox wanted to this second half.
Certainly the man of the moment, involved in both the first half tries for the Blue Sox, also creating that one too, Graham Holroyd. It was a beautifully judged kick. Got good vision as the standoff.
Blakely restarts. Let's go down to pitch side and join Angela Powers with the halftime news.
Well, of course, John Pendlebury won't be upset with that. He's been talking about ball control at half-time. His team has had the possession, had the pressure, but he wants to make it pay a bit more. That try will really help them. Andy Gregory knows that he's got to tighten his defence, out on the wings particularly. That's where it's on the left-hand side that Halifax have been really making the most yards. He knows that if they get possession, then they will score the tries. They need the possession, and that's what he's urging his team to do.
Danny Seal, who started this attack. Here's Richard Marshall. Back it goes to Rowley. Rowley tried to dip both shoulders then and foil the defence, but they stood firm. Cardis back to Clinch. Clinch out wide to Clark. Clark all wrapped up.
That was on the last line of the power play there. Good defence there by Crompton. Clark had no chance of trying to get that ball away.
Third power play for Halifax, but it didn't quite come off. Power play where they run it on the last tackle.
Well, it shows you the confidence. Oh, big hit there. That really was a boomer, wasn't it? Richard Marshall put his body on the line there.
Milo grounded by Holroyd. Quick play the ball. Briggs gives it to Casey. Briggs again, this time to Crompton. Inside then to Paul Southern. Penalty. Referee saw a Halifax player stealing the ball in a two-man tackle. This is Blakely. He's found Hudson Smith. They've got men on the overlap again out wide. Halifax's defence scrambling, and they managed to get to Stuart Littler, but they're so close to the line. Blakely steps inside the on-rushing Marshall, heads off towards the post. Desperate defence again. Broadbent with the tackle. Crompton Salford have stacked the left-hand side. Not the best pass for Milo. Picked up, though, by Scott Martin. 3 tackles gone. For Milo again. Looking to poach one from dummy half. Can't get through Gillespie and Clark like that. Clark is hurt. And that's why he was in the way. And that's why Stuart Cummings has given the penalty. Clark was winded.
Well, you can't take your time to get out of the way, but
Another
he was.
set of 6 here then.
Forward pass. Oh, that's a shame.
What a waste. Crompton's pass to Paul Southern was judged forward by Stuart Cummings, and Crompton can't believe it.
That really is a waste here. I'm not so sure that it was. It was a borderline case, wasn't it?
It was. That's why these camera angles cannot be used to judge forward passes or no.
Well, I think it was badly done today, Martin Crompton. First error of the night. But it's a big one. And it looks okay. He seemed to be behind that broken line. But not okay according to Stuart Cummings.
So here's Pinckney again. Bounces off one. But Hudson Smith is there. Worth mentioning Nick Pinckney's try-scoring record. 101 tries in 103 appearances for the Keighley Cougars during his days there. Here's Broadbent.
Again, good hard work by the Halifax forward. When they work another drive, this will be where the links will come into play. Clinch and Holroyd certainly put it out well in the first half, but it's going to be a kick on the blind side.
And it finds touch over on that far side. Paul Rowley. Well, he told John Pendlebury this morning he was fit to play in this match. His coach was unconvinced. He tested him just before the kick-off. And he's such a vital cog in the Halifax wheel, isn't he, Rowley?
Well, he changes the game and the direction so many times. Good work from the dummy half position.
We saw him score some fabulous tries in '98, didn't we?
Well, one particular last year was only hours after he saved a young girl from drowning out of the canal. That was something to be remembered. I think it was about a 65, 70-metre effort. Tremendous try.
Here's Paul Southern again for the Salford Reds. He does well, gets it back to Briggs. Briggs is being pursued by Rowley, eventually collared by Clark. Crompton. Good ball, Makin. Dropped the ball, it went backwards, it is. Hudson Smith takes it over.
Well, he won't give in, the big Australian Hudson Smith. Not only is a hard worker, quite a classy offloader of the ball.
This is Heighton. Once a hero, now the villain here at the new Shay. Briggs. Crompton. Another screen for a forward pass. Crompton dabs it into the danger area, and Gibson does well. Oh, Gibson got it! That's a try for Crompton.
It sure is.
Time off.
He's going to hand it on to the video ref.
Okay, thanks, Dave. I need to look at 2 things. First of all, was the player who eventually touched down, was he onside? And also, was there a knock-on in there by a Salford player in the influence there? Yeah, okay.
Well, that's what Stuart Cummings wants the video ref to check on.
Well, there's a definite obstruction from Jamie Bloom anyway. He certainly went across Garen Casey. This is a kick from Crompton, and you can see deliberately there, Jamie Bloom now, that perhaps should have been a penalty anyway. And this ball just comes out of Gibson's hands. Now then.
Oh, now then, is it a Makin with a hand in there to knock it forward?
Gee, that's a difficult one. Was Crompton half an inch in front?
Well, Crompton put the kick in, so he's playing everyone onside.
That's fine there. No, it was a deliberate pass.
It was.
And it goes back. This will be a try. Because by the time that the ball has come loose, Crompton has been played onside. This will be try for mine. Why on earth they tried to offload in an impossible situation there. And Cardiff has made a right meal of this. Little doubt in my mind that this will be a try. Well, Halifax have done it again. They've gone to sleep, taken control of the game, and allowed Salford an opportunity to gift effort this. Now there's Crompton in front. At this point in time, he's offside. Ball goes down. Ooh, it's a dodgy one, but I think they'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, Crompton put the original kick in, didn't he?
Well, I think that Scott Martin, when he hands him there, will opt for the try.
Yes, the try is given. Smart work from Crompton, but they had to watch it every inch of the way. And Halifax, well, they've shot themselves in the foot.
Well, it's something that you tell even junior players never to offload when you're in a danger situation like this. He should have taken the opportunity to be tackled in the in goal. At least it would have been a dropout, not the opportunity. Good option, though, from Crompton. Bad bounce, but he got to it, did Gibson. And then, for some unknown reason, he applies the pressure by offloading. Crompton picks up the gift. What a mistake.
What a mistake, and a real Easter egg from the Halifax Blue Sox. But Crompton, with the try, lost his place to Carl Briggs from the start of the match, but he's made an impact, and Garen Casey now takes over the kicking responsibilities. Just the one goal in this year's Super League, but 302 points for Wakefield in last year's Division 1. So this fellow knows where the posts are. 24-year-old from Australia. He's a left pegger, though, and it's the wrong side of the field for him. Try and drift it over the bar. And drifted over the bar he does. Aaron Casey improves matters for Salford, and the gap is back to 4. 18 Halifax, 14 Salford.
Well, the words of wisdom from both coaches not taking their effect, but this is a sin. Why on earth do you do that? He should have taken the tackle, gone for the dropout from underneath the sticks. What a gift. The Easter Bunny may have come a bit late, but that has put the Reds back into this match.
Martin makes a mess of that to knock on.
Well, it's going from bad to worse at the moment. He just lost control of it.
It hit the deck before he got his fingertips back onto it.
This is where he loses it.
Pop, pop, pop. Bang.
Hits the ground. Tried to take it on the half volley. Just a little bit too late.
Something he agrees with the decision. No wonder it was straight from the kickoff. This is Holroyd again. And Carriage got hold of Holroyd and made sure he went on his back. This now is young Cardiff. Came to Halifax looking for regular first-team football from the Wigan reserve grade, and he certainly got it. Marshall to Clinch. And Clinch is wrestled to the ground. Good strong challenge by Carl Briggs. Here's Bloom. A real difficult customer to put to ground.
Well, Halifax will be better served to stand back a little bit, run onto the football. Broadbent has.
Yes, exactly like that. Broadbent taking the Blue Sox to within 5 metres. There's Rowley, fires the pass to Holroyd, and this time it goes off the chest of Bouveng and straight out.
Well, Holroyd thought that the guy in the orange coat perhaps was part of the team. That just went nowhere. No chance for anybody to get through it.
Straight off Bouveng's chest, so Salford back in possession.
Well, it surprises me that's another attempt of the power play from Halifax when, remember, it's quite damp out there. Quite a lot of rain fell in during that first half, so a little grubber kick will be the key. Oh, that wasn't played correctly either. Played by the side of the foot and went at a different angle. Supposed to be played back straight. Look at this. Back to the 30s.
Heighton dumped to the ground just inside the Halifax half. This is the last tackle. Blakely went for the kick, missed his kick completely, went through the legs of Gillespie. Referee says play on. Des Clark gets up and gets on with it.
Wasn't the best from Blakely. Just missed it completely.
Cardiff.
Having a big game, isn't it?
Playing well. Not the biggest fullback in the world, Cardiff, but he's pretty agile, particularly when he's coming forward. Rowley dummy half. Here's Broadbent. Broadbent really is the go forward for Halifax. Of course, they're missing men like Mercer and Skerritt at the moment. Holroyd. Oh, interception, Casey. Could be a gift. Gibson's after him. Casey against Gibson. Gibson gets to him. Great tackle that it needed to be. Better release him, otherwise it could be in the bin. This is Martin.
That's good refereeing there by Stuart Cummings. He wanted to give the advantage to Salford rather than pull them up and give them a penalty.
Crompton, good ball. Chances here. And that's Bradbury, who is so close. Carriage applies the brakes, goes back the other way, picked up by Cardiff Abaya Rowley.
Good work from the hooker there. Long ball out wide, he read it well, didn't he, Casey? But Gibson really did show some magnificent speed there. That could have been the tackle that has saved the Blue Sox.
Well, it certainly preserved their lead, because Casey, had he got away from Gibson, was home and over the line.
Well,
18-14 then.
Oh, a bit of an incident gone on. Touch judge run them through.
This time Frank Hawley, the touch judge, on the field. Referee Stuart Cummings taking a report from him.
What's he done? Stepped on his leg. Martin.
Well, they said that someone stepped on his leg.
Okay?
Let's see if he does. Yes, he does. Crompton
Martin
he was.
Crompton.
Yeah.
The guilty party.
Bit of an unsavoury situation, this. Is he looking down?
Any venom in that? Well,
I don't think so, perhaps. He was not looking at the player. So therefore, I don't think we'll hear anything further about that one.
Halifax anxious to get on with it.
Right, move out now, move out, hands out.
Pinckney, whose try gave the Blue Sox a perfect start to this second half. Now Broadbent making with a good, strong challenge. Clinch. Marshall. It's all one out though, isn't it?
Hey, come on, fellas.
Here's Clinch again. Holroyd to Clark. Clinch takes over. Good movement, but well watched. The referee, though, I think has seen the swinging arm.
Martin, you got to keep him down. He's going right above the shoulder.
Scott Martin. No, Martin Crompton.
Yeah, Crompton went far too high. Just slid off the chest. See clearly there. Well, you can see that he made contact across the chest and the arms of Broadbent. Finished up in the face. Nothing malicious about it, but more to the point. Gives the Blue Sox the chance to add another 2 points. Well, full credit, Eddie, for this Salford Reds fight back on so many occasions. Okay, they took the lead against a run of play early in the first half, but you've got to give them credit for the way that they've fought their way back. And in fact, if it wasn't for that wonderful try-saving tackle by Damien Gibson on Garron Casey, it could have been a lot of trouble for the Blue Sox.
As it is, this penalty to restore a 6-point advantage for Halifax. Graham Holroyd, 3 out of 4. The judge is watching it carefully, and it's not successful, but at least he got it dead. So Halifax will get the ball back from the dropout on the 20-metre line, and he's limping a bit, Graham Holroyd. He's got his left thigh heavily strapped. That's his kicking leg.
Let's not forget, though, it's been a pretty hard Easter.
That's a great drop kick out, that is. Right to the in-goal area. Pinckney will run it back. Bouveng, it's not Bouveng at all, it's Andy Craig who's just on.
Swinging out there from Craig Makin. Crowd didn't like it. Referee said it was okay.
Good run from Danny Seal, 2 men on his back.
There's Makin throwing in the haymaker. But then again, you saw Seal made the half break, and really there's no support. Now this is where Halifax have to stand deep, get the link working.
Clinch hoists the kick, was clobbered by Makin after the ball had gone. Well claimed on that far side by Bobby Thompson.
Took it well. position also by the fullback Paul Carriage in case there was a mistake. Carriage should be there to clean up.
Here's Casey, having a growing influence on this match, Garen Casey.
Well, he read that long ball out wide from Graham Holroyd for the intercept.
Here's Neil Baines. Ball came out but went backwards. Carriage picked up the pieces, retains possession for the Reds. 4 tackles gone, only 17 metres made. Good defensive stint here by Halifax. Compton gets the ball out wide. Littler picks himself up. Compton in at dummy half. Back it goes to Briggs. And Briggs was hit after that ball went as well. And Cardis will run it back once more. Oh, he's thinking of passing. That's a dreadful pass. Oh, and he holds his head in his hands. And no wonder, there was nowhere on earth that Gibson would get that.
Well, what on earth is the player thinking of? They're the side that it's in front by 4 points. They're not playing catch-up football. That is woeful.
And a schoolboy error from Darryl Cardis, and he knows it as well.
Well, they've got a fine match up until that point. I know that Cardis, of course, dropped the ball when Gibson passed it in his in-goal area, allowed Compton that gift of a try.
This is a big opportunity then for Salford, and Casey's almost through.
He lost it.
He lost it, or was it knocked out of him? He's claiming the ball was knocked out of his hands.
Well, he's not happy with it. He was right, yeah, it was
Mr.
Cardis.
Cardis again.
You see there that Holroyd had a hold of him, 2-on-1. Definitely the left arm has knocked that ball, not surprisingly. Casey looked daggers. He's not too impressed either. Andy Gregory.
Well, I think if Andy Gregory gets on the phone to Peter Walsh after yesterday, Peter Walsh will say to Andy Gregory, when you're down, and little decisions like that just don't go for you.
Well, I got the impression that little Andy on the sidelines there was counting to 10 rather than come out with a few choice comments. That's a penalty.
Yeah, that was stolen.
Deliberate taking of the ball there, no doubt about it. Stuart Lifford.
22's pulled it.
22 pull it out. You heard the referee say. Well spotted. Well, it's getting a bit scrappy.
Well, I wonder if you've spotted a man of the match performance, 0660 10 10 13. And your vote, of course, will count for the man of the match award, and someone could be on his way to the grand final. 2 tickets to the grand final is the prize to the viewers' winner. And also the name will go into the draw for the box at Old Trafford on the big night. October the 9th, of course, is grand final night this year. Old Trafford, the venue.
Clear! Come on, fellas!
And if it's anything like last year, it will be an occasion to savour. This is Bloom. Jamie Bloom with a great run. Super stuff from Bloom, and as I've said all the way through this match, he's such a difficult character to put down. This is a big opportunity for the Blue Sox. Here's Clinch. And that ball has gone to ground, and Casey has it, and he's now knocked it on, so it's play on Gibson. Gibson skirts away from the would-be tackler. Straightens up. Can't get away from Carl Briggs, though.
Good play by the official yet again. The referee allowed the advantage. Definitely knocked down by Salford. That's why you heard most of the crowd booing here.
This is Des Clark. Defence is generally standing firm. Something needed to open them up. Has Hobson got the key?
That's 3, leave it!
Clinch might have. Well, he gives it to Holroyd. The dummy runner was there, and the referee said it was an obstruction. It was Danny Seal who ran across the front of Holroyd and took those 2 defenders out of it.
Even though he didn't make any contact, he deliberately used Danny Seal, then set off. Can't use it as an advantage. Well, missed opportunities and missed tackles in these last 18 minutes.
The spirited performance this, though, from the Salford Reds. Even though they've missed 22 tackles, I suppose if you look at a statistic like that, you've got to say that Halifax have blown far too many opportunities. This is Bradbury.
Without doubt, and they're still in this match. Certainly not down and out of the game.
Just 4 missed tackles in this half, though, from the Salford Reds. They've tightened that up considerably, haven't they? Martin is the man in at dummy half. Here's Crompton again. Carriage is there. And he spins away almost from Hobson. But Bloom is there, the reinforcements. Last one for Salford. Will they hoist the kick again or dab it through on this greasy surface? Gibson. Gibson. Super run. Much better from Halifax now. And Damien Gibson leading the way.
More to the point, he didn't look as though he wanted to offload. He knew that the importance of owning possession. Cardiff is on his way yet again. They've made good ground there, Halifax. That's good work. Now the big forward, Broadbent. Big hit there, though.
Still doesn't stop him. And he offloads it to Pinkney, and Pinkney's got the pace. And Pinkney gets a great try. He beat Carriage out wide. It's the second try of the match for Nick Pinkney. But you have to credit the run, first of all, from Gibson that put Halifax in the position. Then Broadbent again carried the battle on, and Pinkney finished off once more. John Pendlebury watches as Pinkney scoots in for his second try. He had too much pace for Andy Gregory's fullback Paul Carriage out wide, and Pinkney gets the second try of this match for him.
Well, a wonderful run by Gibson, and it would have pleased his coach John Pendlebury. Possession is vital, but what a good jinking and strong running run in the end. Broadbent took it to them. Littler went in, but he shrugged him off, and Pinkney had all the speed. Carriage just caught out, being up forward just a little bit too much. Didn't have enough room to push him away. Broadbent gets away from it. Then the offload, in and out. Carriage was caught short there. He knew he had the speed.
Great stuff from Nick Pinkney, and now Graham Holroyd. This is a difficult conversion attempt. Look at the angle that he's got. Way out on the far touchline.
Got it, Carl.
And he misses another that he's been close all night. 22 points to 14 though, Halifax.
There you see the fullback Carriage just caught out, a little bit too tight, and off he went. Sheer speed there from Pinkney. Try number 2. That'll lift the spirit.
2 clean breaks to Nick Pinkney, 2 tries to Nick Pinkney. And is that the signal now for John Pendlebury's team to really launch a late assault here and press home their advantage? Holroyd can't get away from Carl Briggs. Rowley to Bloom.
Had a big match for South African. All right, missed one tackle, which allowed Salford in for a try in the first half, but he really has been a thorn in the Salford defence. Difficult man to put down.
And here's Danny Steele, who's showed up well since he came on. Missed out on first team duty all of last year. Very much back in business though now for John Pendlebury. Clinches kick to the corner. Carriage is after this, but he took his time. 2 missed it, but Gibson didn't.
Well,
Martin will run this ball back.
Kick is only as good as the chase, and yet again it was there. Halifax, they've stepped up a gear.
Well, they want to press home the advantage now.
The big question is, can Salford? Will they run out of gas? Can they hang on? Try to desperately get back into this match. All it would need is a try.
Well, 2 games in 5 days will take its toll on these players.
Well, not only that, they missed so many tackles in that first half. That means that you've got to get back and scramble and scramble. You're running a lot more than your opposition.
Briggs saw the referee's hand raised for the last tackle. The kick downfield bounces kindly in the end for Cardiff. And Darryl Cardiff will run it back again. Andy Craig to the halfway line. Hobson now. Bradbury all round him. David Bradbury, signed from Oldham. His career really has been on hold at Salford. Hasn't made the impact, no doubt, he or Andy Gregory hoped he would. Des Clark is not held. He can get up and move a few more metres forward. Baines got to him. Here's Rowley. Now Broadbent again. Danger for Salford every time Broadbent gets hold of the ball. Here's Danny Steele. Bloom was waiting for the opportunity out wide. The ball never came. Last tackle. Will Halifax run it, or is there a drop goal from Holroyd?
Missed it.
Misses.
So into a good position there. Just a little bit slow to play the ball area. Didn't come back quick enough.
He's shaved the uprights today, hasn't he, with conversion attempts, and now with the drop goal attempt. Baines to trundle it forward once more.
Well, it's always a good option, especially now that they've reverted back to the scoring side receiving the ball from the kickoff. So perhaps a lot of coaches last season didn't want to go for the 1 point too often because that meant that they had to give possession back. Not anymore.
Bradbury to Blakely at the dummy half position. Here's Hudson Smith. Just a word about Bradbury. I mentioned his career's been on hold. This is only his 20th appearance for the Salford Reds tonight. Stuart Littler struggles to his feet. Blakely on the last tackle will hoist the kick. Carriage is after this. Carriage wants it more than most. Lost it. And lost again. Casey picks it up.
Knock on, no advantage. Right.
Knock on, no advantage. Turnover.
Well, he's worked hard, hasn't he? He's got the ball there. Smack right behind him. Jamie Bloom came floating in. Casey was away to no avail.
Well, Carriage was judged to have knocked it on, but on the evidence of that picture, looked like Carriage actually lost control and then knocked it back.
Yep.
However, we're not the men in the middle, Steve-O. Their job is hard enough. Here's Pickney, who's on a hat-trick.
You wouldn't want to do that, Eddie, would you?
I would not. 10th Salford handling error anyway.
Well,
Hobson loses it. It's a huge hit by Bradbury.
What it ever. He played a knock on. Look at this.
Here we go.
He was never going to hold on to that.
Settle down.
Bang! Hobson would have felt it. Well, you say Bradbury's had a few injuries over the years, but certainly looked pretty good then.
Come out the side. Ball, can it ahead.
Inside the last 10 minutes of this match, Bradbury with a big hit on the man he's packing down with Andy Hobson. They're having a word or two with each other. Who's your man of the match? 0660 10 10 13. Your call. Here's Heighton. Started the scoring. He's through the first line of defence. Just lost his footing. Bloom was after him. So was Cardis. He was the last line of defence. Now Crompton. Salford aren't done yet, you know. The forward pass to Bradbury from Crompton.
That's the second occasion that that's occurred. He can't believe it. Played it very flat, but I think on that occasion, just to being slightly forward. Yeah, you could see that he was hesitating before receiving the football. It's a pretty clear indication that, I'm caught.
Here's Andy Craig again. Another young man who began his career at Wigan, but then went to Swinton last year, from where Halifax picked him up. Rowley. Good run from Danny Seal again.
Well, Halifax need to keep this ball alive now because Salford, they're looking a little bit tired in defence.
Oh, Jamie Bloom. Raw bone South African.
Been everywhere, hasn't he?
Oh, good defence. Much better defence. 5 clean breaks from Jamie tonight.
Not only that, he's really worked hard.
That's Rowley's dab to the corner, but that's going to be too deep, is it? No, Carriage is taking the gamble. Oh, and it just came up for him. Clinch was looking for it to stand up in goal.
Wait for the whistle.
Pretty cool. The Australian just went over.
Good judgment.
Well, he's got through a lot of work, hasn't he, this full-back, Paul Carriage.
Pull, fellas, come on.
Oh, Brick's big hit on him. Well, going right to the end, Bradbury had a bit of an impact on this match since he came on. Bradbury is tackling, and now with his forages forward, Blakely. Oh, and Hudson Smith puts it down. That will be a knock-on.
Well, you rarely see that from the big fella. Got a good pair of hands, great ball handler, especially in the offloading department. And that was one offload he didn't want to do onto the ground, especially with only 7 minutes remaining.
He's played alongside a certain Ellery Hanley at the Balmain Tigers in Australia in his time.
Well, Broadbent goes off to a round of applause. He's worked hard.
He has. He's replaced by Richard Marshall. That's moving. Just taps as he was on his way. This now is Gibson. Halifax trying to press home the advantage here in the last 6.5 minutes. Des Clark. And the ball was stolen in a two-man tackle, so it's a penalty.
I'm not so sure that Clark was having much control of that, but there were...
Briggs certainly pinched it.
And Bradbury was down low. It's been a niggling affair. Quite a lot of these players have had plenty to say to each other.
Well, such is the situation in the match, with just over 5 minutes to go, that Graham Holroyd decides to have a kick at goal here to stretch the Halifax advantage to 10 points. Could be a winning lead. Bang in front of the posts. He's kicked it this time. So Holroyd increases the advantage to the 10, 24 points to 14.
Eases the pressure somewhat. And I'm sure that the message from John Pendlebury, the Blue Sox coach, will be, let's keep this ball alive. It's always nice to finish on a high. Time, of course, will be against Salford.
If a victory it is, it has been ground out here this evening. Blakely with the kick-off. Straight into the arms of Holroyd, who looked around for a big forward, and there was no willing runner. So he has to take the tackle from Hudson Smith. Charged by Danny Seal. He's come on and he's done well as Seal.
Taking the ball up, not trying to do that, and that's good defence. Well, you've got to hand it to this Salford Reds side. They've worked hard.
They're playing with a lot of spirit.
Oh, that was pulled out one-on-one.
He lost the ball, says referee Stuart Cummings.
I think you'll find that it was reefed away. Ragged.
Salford have it. This is Heighton. Bloom and Holroyd, and he can't put him down, and the tackle is not completed. That's wonderful play. Briggs. Long ball into the arms of Carriage. Well, it should have been in the arms of Carriage. And Paul Carriage makes a blunder.
And while he was making that blunder, there was handbags at 6 paces. Well, not the best way to finish a match. He's worked hard, though, to be fair. Has played at fullback in Australia, first time for the Reds tonight, of course. 4 errors. And this is the reason why the officials have just a few words.
Let's get through this. Thanks, Tim.
Tim Taylor's report, received by referee Stuart Cummings. Jamie Bloom and Paul Heighton just kicked off. Let's get through the last 5 minutes, says Stuart Cummings, without any more nonsense. Pinckney looking to wrap up a hat-trick. Bloom again.
Hard man to get down, isn't he?
Such upper body strength.
Not only that, he's playing in the pack now.
Andy Craig, straight into the chest of Stuart Littler there.
Come on, fellas.
Here's Gavin Clinch. Oh, and Cardiff makes a meal of it again. Briggs has got it back. Well, you've got to credit Salford. They're not waving the white flag. And Blakely is through. He's got support from Heighton. Heighton bounces off one, bounces off two, can't get away from Marshall and Rowley. Pinckney withdrawn. The hat-trick won't be coming. Carriage. Keeping it alive well, Salford. Baines, desperate stuff now from the Reds. Fine Milo.
That's two, move!
Only 2 tackles gone. Plenty of time for Salford, but the 10-point gap.
Well spotted there by Hobson. Knew that the inside ball was coming from Crofton. It always helps when you read the game well. He knew that the big follow was coming back on the inside.
Blakely misses out Baines and finds carriage. Garen Casey, ball put down and knocked forward.
No advantage, so that'll be a knock-on.
Well, they've got to force the pace. Salford, they're playing catch-up.
They've got to try there, and Casey just not taking it. Hit the chest. Fine effort by the fullback Carriage, running the angle. They did everything right about, other than taking up the football. There's been some crucial errors in this match.
So Halifax with a head and feed.
That's one, clear!
Looking to finish on a flourish. Halifax
That's two, clear!
inside the last minute. I think they're on to winning pay. There's no doubt about that now.
Leave him, Dave!
And Darryl Cardiff knows he's been in a match. Good run from Hobson. Holroyd with a kick to the corner. Bobby Thompson.
That'll be a try.
And a try, is it? For Paul Rowley. The referee has given it. Stuart Cummings will hand it on to the video ref.
See whether there was 2 in the tackle or there was 1 in the tackle.
Was the 2 in the tackle? Was the 1 in the tackle?
Well, there's a real schmozzle there. Bobby Thompson got back to it. Clinch goes 1-on-1. That's okay. And it goes backwards. This will be given a try. 1-on-1. Clinch reefs it. And it reefs it backwards. Rowley, the poacher,
So it
is in for a try.
Could be a try for Rowley. No doubt about the grounding. The Halifax public are applauding Paul Rowley. They think it's a try. What say you, video ref? Paul Rowley gets the 4-pointer then that just confirms Halifax Blue Sox and their victory here tonight.
Well, a scrappy affair. You take the option. He's been in good form in the field kicking as Graham Holroyd. The winger Thompson did everything right. Clinch whips it away. It was deemed to have gone back. And the poacher, Mr. Rowley. Well, a sad end for a wonderful effort by Salford. Clinch definitely got the ball away. It was deemed that it went backwards.
So Paul Rowley gets his first try of 1999 on his 40th consecutive appearance for the Blue Sox. In fact, he's played 66 of Halifax's 70 Super League games. And Holroyd now to improve matters right at the death of this match. This for a 16-point win. He kicks it, the flags go up, and that's the victory for the Halifax Blue Sox. Andy Gregory's torment goes on. 30 points to 14. John Pendlebury's side have prevailed. The Blue Sox get their first home win of 1999. It was confirmed by the try from Rowley. But the torment continues, the agony continues for the Salford Reds and Andy Gregory, who are still seeking their first points of 1999. Now, a reminder that we have live World Championship boxing coming up for you on Saturday night. Prince Nazim Hamed defends his WBO featherweight title against Paul Ingle, and we'll see one of the all-time greats, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. He goes for the IBO Cruiserweight title live on Sky Box Office 3 and on Sky Digital. The show starts at 8 o'clock. For more information on this box office event, call 0990 800 888. That's 0990 800 888. Graham Holroyd takes the tapes off his hands. Blakely, the Salford skipper on the night, leaves the field disconsolately. Nick Pinkney with 2 fabulous tries, really the highlight of this 30 points to 14 win by the Halifax Blue Sox. The Reds were made to feel blue. Blue Sox have won by 30 points to 14. 2 from Pinckney, Bloom, Gibson, Rowley. Holroyd with the crucial 5 goals. Hyton, Casey, Crompton for the Reds. And Casey with the 1 goal. 30 points to 14 then. Halifax Blue Sox first victory here at the new Shay this year. And who's your man of the match? Graham Holroyd with half of your votes. So Graham Holroyd of the Blue Sox is the man of the match. Here he is with Angela Powers.
Graham Holroyd, man of the match, but that was a real team effort.
Yeah, you know, a good team effort. We're a must-win game, so, you know, hopefully we can carry it at Gateshead on Saturday.
It's one of those where real 80-minute concentration was needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, we dropped a few balls in the last 10, but, you know, as defence held in and, you know, luckily they dropped a few balls in the vital moments, so, you know, we're just glad for the 2 points.
Salford haven't won one yet, but from that performance, then they're going to win one soon, aren't they?
I think, you know, they've been looking last, you know, a couple of games and we knew it was going to be hard. You know, them coming to the Shay and, you know, Andy Grigg having fired up, so, you know, I wish them all the best and hopefully they can get their win.
And a good springboard for you as well.
Yeah, you know, we're a must-win for us, you know, a couple more wins and, you know, we could be up there, so hopefully we can get it said in the next few games. We've got, you know, the big guns, Leeds, Wigan and Bradford, so hopefully we can, you know, do self-justice against them as well.
Thanks, Graham.
Cheers.
Graham Holroyd, well-deserved man of the match. Linda Barton of Leeds picked him, and Linda has got 2 tickets to the grand final at Old Trafford on October the 9th as the prize, and the name will go forward to the draw for the VIP box at Old Trafford on the big night. Well done, Linda. Well done, the Halifax Blue Sox. Good 2 points for them here
At the new Shay, incidentally, we're with you tonight.
until 10 o'clock.
And between now and the end of the programme, we've got all the sides for you from the Easter programme in Super League. Coming first, we have Good Friday highlights, and we've got Easter Monday to look back on as well.
But now we're going to reflect on this victory for the Blue Sox. And Steve, although it was a hard-fought win in the end, I mean, we've got to give Salford Reds credit for that, but you just wonder when their first win is going to come for Andy Gregory.
Well, I think you've got to look at the fact that effort will not win you a game at all. They would not. And I think it wasn't until Gibson made that strong run that allowed Pinckney to score the try that it got to a situation where it was the game breaker. They just kept coming back into it. Now, this was a wonderful run by Gibson, back on the inside. It sets itself on a position. But John Pendlebury will be telling his players this week, saying that, look, we are very good on attack, but we do go to sleep. They allowed the opposition back into it. And there you see the second phase of that play after Gibson made that run. Broadbent did well. 2 or 3 good, strong runs. Pinckney with all the speed. You could see that the fullback Paul Carriage just caught a little bit short there, and the speed brought him out to score what I thought was a game breaker. But yes, I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Salford, but effort alone will not just take them on. And I think there's a few problems that they've got to sort out, both sides, that their defence, especially with Salford out wide, and with Halifax, they go to sleep as soon as they score a try.
There's plenty of new faces on show on both sides tonight, wasn't there? And I think there are signs there that these are 2 sides, Halifax and Salford, who are taking just a little bit of time to bed in.
Yeah, I think that I was impressed with the way that Graham Holroyd, especially with his kicking game, and I mean, the 2 or 3 beautiful, skillful passes. We know the quality of this man, and I think that the combination of Clinch with Holroyd this season. Last season it was Chester and Clinch, and that was one of the main reasons why Halifax were the surprise packet of last season. They can still be a surprise packet. They can still come up with a very good win. They'll shock quite a few players, teams this season, especially if the combination of the 2 halfbacks can afford to do that link. And I thought that Holroyd and Clinch today played exceptionally well, especially in the first half.
Okay, that's this match wrapped up then, and a good win for Halifax Blue Sox in the end. Now we begin our roundup of all the events that have happened in Super League throughout this Easter holiday. We've got the Good Friday fixtures in a moment, but first of all, let's just relive that epic that we saw on Thursday night at Odsall between the Bradford Bulls and the Leeds Rhinos.
Revenge was the word on the lips of Bradford fans as the Bulls took on the Rhinos again and grabbed a 5th-minute lead from former Leeds man Mike Forshaw in front of a 16,000 crowd at Odsall. The grand final is what Bradford are aiming for now, and they look the part, moving into a 10-2 lead as Henry Paul glided through. But the Rhinos came back on the half hour, and Ryan Sheridan continued his great form, 12-6 to the Bulls at half-time. The Rhinos had Mark Glanville sin-binned. The Bulls took advantage through Robbie Paul. But with 4 minutes to go, a tired Bradford defence allowed Iestyn Harris to canter in. The Bulls, though, held on.
High noon at Central Park, and this was as tense as any Wigan Saints game was going to get. It was Greg Florimo who started the scoring for Wigan. Then, as the first half drew to a close, Tommy Martin regathered his own kick. Pass to Newlove, who found Sullivan in the right place at the right time. Then a high kick by Sean Long was caught by Aitchison. All he had to do was touch it down. Wigan replied in similar fashion. The scorer was Danny Moore, who sustained a rib injury in the process. But the killer blow came from a bandaged Kevin Iro. Final score, 12-14 to Saints.
London Broncos maintained their unbeaten start to the season, but only just as Hull Sharks blew a golden opportunity to snatch their first points. The Broncos took the lead when Brett Wharton's angled run set up Anthony Seibold. It was only 6-0 to the Broncos at the break, but they gave themselves a bit more breathing space with a Greg Fleming try. The Sharks, though, found their bite on the hour. Jim Leatham going over. And 5 minutes later, Hull had London wobbling as Rob Roberts shrugged off the defence and galloped in. But Graham Hallis couldn't convert, allowing the Broncos to escape.
Unbeaten Warrington travelled to Salford, who were still looking for their first win. But it was the Wolves who scored first with Lee Penny. Next up, Toakoa Love, in form and loving every minute of it. Warrington were 8-0 up when Salford applied the pressure. A spilled ball collected wide on the wing for Malcolm Alker to touchdown. And they kept up the pressure on the Wolves line. They evaded the Primrose and Blue defence, and it was Briggs who touched down. Time to celebrate. But not for long. After the half-time break, it was Warrington back on the charge. Toakoa Love breaking through the defence. Jason Roach on the wing to touch it down. Same again less than 10 minutes later. A quick pass to the right, and Roach makes it 2. Warrington looked well in charge when Wainwright passed to winger Mark Foster for this try. But Salford, trailing by 26 points to 10, never gave up. Broadbent pushed off one, evaded the second. Thompson did likewise to lay it off for Hume, who sent in Alker for his second. Then it was the captain himself who ended the scoring, but Hume's finish just wasn't enough for the Reds.
This was a game to give coaches nightmares, with Sheffield and Huddersfield showing generosity. The Eagles giving Craig Weston and Bobby Goulding the opportunity to set up Andy Cheetham. Then it was Huddersfield's turn to be magnanimous. They allowed Keith Senior to escape. And Senior put Bright Sodgy away. Senior was involved again, and he must visit the same barber as Dale Lawton, who put the Eagles ahead. Bobby Goulding's kicking game caused Sheffield early problems, this one setting up Craig Weston's try. But another Goulding kick wasn't so successful, charged down by Mark Ashton to give the Eagles scrum half a scoring opportunity. In the second half, the Eagles stretched their lead to a seemingly comfortable 25 points to 12. Once more, the Huddersfield defence was generous, this time allowing Martin Pearson to go through. But then the combination of Bobby Goulding and Paul Loughlin struck twice with almost identical tries. Long passes from Goulding, strength from the Giants' centre. A typical close-range sniping try from Darren Turner steadied the Eagles. Their skipper Darren Shaw even added a drop goal, but Huddersfield almost pinched it. Paul Riley adding a great try, Loughlin having one disallowed.
Castleford were eager to see off Halifax, and it was Michael Eager who did the most damage, taking his captain's pass to sneak in with this try. Halifax evened the scoring soon after. Lynch managed to slip out this pass, which went wide onto the wing, and then it was Bouveng who passed to Pinckney, who went over. Then it was that man Eager again. A nifty pass back from Val, and he was over for his second. But Halifax hadn't had enough. They brought the score to 10-all when Craig went over. Then that immovable object, Dean Sampson, got in the way of Halifax's hope. The ball went to Val, then to Eager, the crowd pleaser.
A first win for the Gateshead Thunder against Super League's other newcomers, the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Willie Peters' kick, and Ben Samet was there to finish off. It was another Peters kick that led to the second Thunder try. This time Matt Daylight was on the end of it. Kerrod Walters returned to the Thunder's starting lineup. He too was heavily involved. Samet getting his second try. The Wildcats bit back. A great run from Adam Hughes. Thunder thought they'd got their man, but Graham Law was able to go over. Two Willie Peters kicks had set up tries for other Thunder players. This time he was on the end to touchdown himself.
Well, that's the story of the matches prior to Easter Sunday. We have, of course, all the highlights to come for you from yesterday, Bank Holiday Monday, and indeed we will look back on the entire programme over the Easter holiday when we return. But here at the now empty new Shay, we have seen the Halifax Blue Sox come up with their first home win of the season, 30 points to 14 over the Salford Reds. And that will come along tomorrow at Huddersfield at the McAlpine Stadium when the Huddersfield Giants take on the Castleford Tigers. But let's now look back to the Easter Monday programme, and we begin with our match at lunchtime yesterday, the game between the Hull Sharks and the Sheffield Eagles.
More agony for the Hull Sharks as again they came close to snatching the points. Bright Sodje opened the scoring for Sheffield Eagles, but Hull gave as good as they got. A superb break from Logan Campbell, bringing them level. Hull were punished for sloppy defending. On this occasion, Steve Prescott seemed to have the ball covered, but once more, Sodje was alert to the chance. Hull were missing 9 first-team regulars, which meant a chance for players like Steve Barrow, involved in setting up this try for Gary Lester. But no sooner had Hull drawn level than they blew the chance again. Mark Aston's kick partially charged down. Simon Baldwin was there. Young Chris Thorman spun the ball out wide to Carl Lovell, who had the pace to beat the cover. And they got their noses in front when Graham Hallis powered his way through. But with the seconds ticking away, a Thorman kick was touched down by Lovell to bring the scores level. It all depended on the boots of Mark Aston. He kicked the goal. It was Sheffield who was celebrating.
They meet in the Challenge Cup final on May the 1st, but first they had to battle it out for Super League points. First points on the board went to London. Anthony Seibold under the post. Leeds replied 4 minutes later. Harris's run setting up Lawford for Leeds' first point. London were back on top minutes later when Glen Ayre's run from the scrum made space for ex-Saints Carl Hammond. Next, Leeds turned to pick up the 4 points. Brad Godden wrong-footed the London defence, and out on his wing was Francis Cummins. At the break, Leeds trailed London by 10 points to 12. But the Leeds machine was well and truly switched on after the break, scoring 5 tries without reply, starting with this one from Anthony Farrell. They made the next 4-pointer look easy. Godden to Jackson, to Lawford, to Harris, and it was Marvin Golden's try. Steele Retchless's spilled ball started the ball rolling for the next try. Golden's pass to Leroy Rivette, and the try was his for the taking. Yestin Harris took the game well out of London's reach, and a final try from Lawford, his second, wrapped it up for the Rhinos.
Fresh from their triumph at Central Park, St Helens blew away the Bradford Bulls, although it was the Bulls who scored first through Bernard Dwyer. Then the Saints went to work. O'Neill to Tuilangi, who had a phenomenal game for Saints. So too did Sean Long. And Sullivan was in for the first of his tries. Long was involved again, this break setting up the opportunity for Paul Sculthorpe. Now this one's called the long way round. Kevin Iro also involved, and Tony Stewart was there to finish off. Saints were rampant to the delight of a 15,000 strong crowd. Tommy Martin going over for this one. Stewart used his strength to reach for his second try, and there was a brief flicker of resistance from the Bulls with Neil Harmon burrowing his way over. Then the Saints took charge again. Paul Davidson on the rampage, Kieran Cunningham to Tim Yonkers. The final glory belonged to Anthony Sullivan. Just the sort of opportunity he likes, with the ball spilled and a clear field ahead of him. That took St Helens past the 50-point mark, but they weren't finished. Sean Long capped a superb performance to fool the Bradford defence. They were queuing up for this one, but there could only be one recipient. It had to be Sullivan.
Not the best Easter for the Wildcats. Defeat at Gateshead, then Wigan at home. Dennis Betts, back after injury, got the Warriors started. Try number 2 came soon after. A great run by Florimo through the Wakefield defence set up Paul Johnson, and he didn't stop till he got to the post. A little solo dart from Jason Robinson made it 3. Then back to the other wing, and Paul Johnson again. His mate Lee Gilmore got in the action, taking the pass from captain Andy Farrell to cross over. That wing again, this time Gary Connolly. But there was another team in this game. Wakefield showed how quick thinking and keeping the ball moving can get results. Ian Talbot, the scorer. And they were next on the scoreboard too. A long pass out from Glenn Tomlinson found Francis Stevenson. On his wing, Neil Law, who's determined to get over by hook or by crook. Hat-trick time for Wigan next. Paul Johnson with his third. But Wakefield weren't about to give up. and it was Andy Hodgson who skimmed through the Warriors to touchdown. Then Wigan on the attack again. Wes Davis passing to Connolly, then sneaking up behind him to take the ball for his own 4-pointer. Wigan's last try came from Mick Cassidy, taking the Warriors' points tally to 52 with the kick. Wakefield got their score to 22. Andy Hodgson's second try wrapping up a one-sided game.
There's no stopping Warrington Wolves at the moment, although Gateshead Thunder came mighty close to doing just that. Wolves scored first, Jason Roach keeping up his good form, but then the Thunder took over and took a convincing lead. The ball given away to Matt Daylight, who outpaced Roach for this try. And it got better for the new boys. Robinson's high kick to the corner. Forster was underneath it, but so too was Dave Maiden. 12-4, Gateshead led at half-time, but Mike Wainwright pulled a score back for Warrington Wolves. No sooner had Warrington done that than Gateshead went further ahead through Luke Felsh. But then Warrington stepped up a gear. A good ball from Toa Love, and Roach was in for his second try. The big kick from Lee Breers and Alan Hunt's try brought the scores level at 18 apiece. Gateshead had a Craig Wilson try disallowed. A Lee Breers drop goal nudged Warrington ahead. Mark Forster put the issue beyond doubt.
So that's the Easter programme. This is the way the Super League table now looks. St Helens out on top. They're 100% and a far better points difference than Warrington, who also have a 100% record. They're in second. Wigan have moved into third. London fourth. And Bradford Bulls fifth. Behind them, Leeds and Halifax and Castleford and Sheffield all on 4 points. And down at the bottom, 3 without a win. Hull, Salford and Huddersfield. So Huddersfield and Castleford will play tomorrow evening. By the way, a couple of milestones to report from the Easter Monday programme. Dennis Betts' try that you saw him score against Wakefield Trinity at Bellevue was his 100th touchdown, and that was after only a few seconds of his comeback for Wigan. 100th touchdown for Wigan then for Dennis Betts. And also Francis Cummins scored his 100th career try for Leeds in the dress rehearsal with the London Broncos. Right, you're right up to date with everything that's happened in Super League this Easter weekend. It's been a marathon stint for us as well, Steve-O. But your heart's got to go out to some of these players. They've been playing 2 games in 5 days. Peter Walsh, for instance, yesterday when we were on Humberside, he said 3 matches in 6 weeks and then 3 games in 8 days. I mean, it's cruel on the players, isn't it?
Yes, I think that the way that we're playing the games these days, it's a lot faster. We know that the big hits are there every time, but they are full-time professionals. The intensity perhaps has not been as good as what we saw on Friday. The second game in such a short time will always take its toll. A lot of players have to go into a game, maybe 95% injury. They can get away with that. But if you're having to go in, say, 70%, then you do have a problem. But the intensity will drop, and perhaps maybe that's good for the fans, because you will see high-scoring games when they do that. And maybe that's the reason why quite a few of the coaches, Graham Murray, has been critical about the whole situation, having to play 2 games in such a short period of time.
He wasn't too happy, was he?
Well, he's not happy with that, and perhaps he wasn't too happy with the performance in the first half, because London, they took the lead. And I think there's situations that's for and against. But the one thing you must always keep driving home is that these guys are fully professional. They don't have to go and carry a hod or do anything else for 40 hours a week. They are fully professional, and they have to maintain that. We see that in other sports. We see it a lot in soccer. They manage to do it, and we have to do exactly the same.
And of course all the clubs put their hands up, didn't they, and voted for the proposal of having this double-header over the bank holiday weekend, so the players have just got to get on with it.
Well, yes, they get paid very well, and of course the reason why they do get paid well is because some of the clubs want to pay them big money, and in doing so they obviously want to have as many home games as they can. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation, but we have to always remember that situation, that it is a business now, and when you're in business, then you are being paid big money, then you have to perform.
And St Helens are on fire at the top of the table, aren't they? Warrington just behind them. A couple of big games coming up for Warrington in particular over the next week. They've got Wigan this coming weekend, and then they have Bradford Bulls down at Wilderspool. So it could all change over the course of the next fortnight. We'll follow it all the way, of course. We'll have more from the Super League World for you on Rugby League World Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. That's tomorrow. Also the latest news from Australia. And then the live action comes back on again on Friday. We're at the Stoop for London Broncos against the league leaders. Friday, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Latest news from Australia, North Queensland against Penrith, Saturday at 10 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. And Sheffield against Leeds, note the time, 3:30. We're live on Sky Sports 1 Sunday afternoon. Been a great Easter for the Super League. Great Easter for Steve-O and I. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Got the man on the overlap, and he's in. That's a great try. Good run from Broadbent. He did that so effectively. Holroyd pops the ball up for Bloom, and Bloom through a gap, and the straight to the South African takes him home. This is Bloom. Jamie Bloom with a great run. Clinch shaped the kick, but instead he went out wide. Holroyd, the ball is played out to Gibson, and Damien Gibson will score a second for Halifax. Oh, that's a great run from Casey. Casey's going to go in the corner. Casey gets the score. Nick over the top. Great chase on out wide. That's a try. That's a super try from Nick Pinkney. Casey against Gibson. Gibson gets to it. Great tackle into the danger area, and Gibson does well. Oh, Gibson got it. That's a try for Thompson.
It sure is.
Gibson. Super run. And he offloads it to Pinkney, and Pinkney's got the pace, and Pinkney gets a great try. On Sky Sports 1.